Hi. Okay. Music. Well, there's a lot that goes into this, and um, basically, for the guitar, what you want to start out with is some kind of a mnemonic device to help you to remember the names of the strings. Um, so, starting with the lowest string, this is an E, and then there's a B and a G and a D and an A and an E. So Easter bunnies get drunk at Easter, and you can find another mnemonic device to use to remember the names of the strings. But pretty much with the guitar, that's where you want to start. Uh, E, B, G, D, A, E. Easter E, bunnies B, get G, drunk D, at A, Easter E. Okay. So once you know that, then it's kind of cool the way this works because you have E, F, F sharp or G flat, G, G sharp or A flat, A sharp or B flat, B, C. Wait a minute. Why are there no sharps and flats? Why is it B, C? Why is it E, F? And this causes a lot of confusion for many people because there is no indication that should be like that. So what happens is that if you have something that looks like this, lighting, okay, great. A lot of the confusion goes away because the music notation for the guitar comes from the piano. So what happens here is, and I'm going to try to do this, which I haven't done very well before. Ta-da! Okay, so what you have here is, this is a part of the piano and it repeats. So what you have is the same thing over here and the same thing over here. And it goes like this: C, D, E, F, G, A, B. And then over here there would be another C because it just goes back to this point again. Okay, so you can see here that you have, C, D, E, F. But there's no black note in between, so there are no sharps and flats there. And here you have a B, and if it goes to the next one, which is here, it's B, C. And there again is no black note in between, so that's why it's E, F, and B, C. Okay, so with the sharps and flats, what happens is that if you're descending toward the lower pitched notes, then what happens is that these are all flats. And it's the note before it that you use in order to say like D flat, E flat, G flat, A flat, B flat, right? If you're going toward the lower pitched notes on the piano. Okay, but if you're going toward the higher pitched notes on the piano, then what happens is that they're all sharps. So it's C sharp, D sharp, F sharp, G sharp, A sharp. Okay. So these notes have two different names. This is a D flat or a C sharp. And this one is an E flat or a D sharp. Okay, so once you have an understanding of that, this particular part of the piano, when you go to the guitar, things are much easier because you know E, F. You know why it's like that. Excuse me. And when you go to the B, C, it's the same thing. You know why it's like that. And you know that all the other ones are going to have sharps and flats in between, like E, F, F sharp or G flat, G, A sharp, or I'm sorry, G sharp or A flat. And what you can do using this is to, once you know the names of the strings, you're able to go ahead and use this to follow along and know all the names on each individual string. So one of the things that I think is really important to mention, and I want to do that now, is that each one of these steps, as you go to the next key on the piano, it's a half step. And if you want to do the same thing on the guitar, each one of these each one of these is a half step. Okay? When you go from one fret to the next, these are all half steps. Now, whole steps are just you have a note in between. So what happens is that if you go from here to here, then it's a whole step, all right? Because you're skipping one, which is this black key. Now, if you're going from here to here, this is a half step, and this is a whole step, going from here to here. All right, so half step and whole step, which really clears up a lot of things. If you go two strings on the guitar, that's a whole step, and if you go from one fret to the other, then that is a half step. Okay, so half steps and whole steps, easy enough. Okay, so this will tell you all the names of the notes on the guitar. And if you try to do that without using this, chances are you're going to be confused. So draw this, or somehow, again, it's easier to draw. And then you look at that and you use that to figure out what the names of the strings on the guitar are. Names of the notes on the strings of the guitar are. So say A, this is the fifth string here. A sharp or B flat. B, C, right? Because of this, B, C. And once I understood that, once I understood where the notes were coming from, everything became much clearer, and I was able to understand things differently, and I could know what all the notes were on the guitar. Okay, so what happens is at the 12th fret, this part here is this part here. Okay, so it just repeats. If you have an F here, you have an F here. At the 12th fret, all of these notes are these notes. So if you know these, then you automatically know these. What I've just told you here are all the notes on the guitar, and you have to work at it. You have to sit there and you have to go through this and figure out which note is which, and it helps a lot. Like, you can use tablature, and it's great because you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and you put your fingers where the dots are, and everything works out great. But if there are other people who are playing music with you, they say, play B flat or something like that, and you say, huh? What? Don't you have dots? Or numbers like we do? No, they don't. Okay, so this way, it really helps a lot, because when people say B flat, you know that it's on the 6th fret, and this is where B flat lives. So knowing the names of the notes helps immeasurably. With the guitar is not a mystery anymore. It becomes a friend. You understand it well. You know it well. And a lot of the confusion and lack of understanding, and going through the procedures of trying to, you start out with lessons, and it is very confusing. It's very tedious and very boring, and that's not what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be fun. The video is getting too long. Take good care. Thank you. Bye.